Welcome. Today we are unpacking one of the most practical questions in generative AI right now. Can you actually tell whether a piece of text, an image, or an audio clip was written by a human or generated by a machine? The answer is yes, sometimes, and the techniques behind it are called watermarking and AI content detection. In the next few minutes we will walk through what these terms mean, how they work under the hood, where they break, and which tools you can reach for. No heavy math required, just plain English. Let us start with the core idea. A watermark is a hidden signal that a model deliberately embeds into its own output at the moment of generation. Think of it like an invisible ink stamp. A human reading the text sees nothing unusual, but a special detector that knows the secret pattern can scan the content later and say, yes, this came from our model. The key word here is deliberate. Watermarking happens on purpose, while the content is being created, by the company that owns the model. Now contrast that with detection. Detection is the harder, after-the-fact approach. Here you have some text and no watermark to rely on. A detector tries to guess whether a machine wrote it by looking at statistical fingerprints, things like how predictable the word choices are, how uniform the sentence rhythm is, or how rarely a human would phrase something that smoothly. Watermarking is proactive and built-in. Detection is reactive and probabilistic. Both aim at the same goal, but they work in completely different ways. So how does text watermarking actually work? The most popular method is called the green list, red list trick. Before a model picks its next word, it uses a secret key to randomly split the entire vocabulary into two buckets, a green list and a red list. The model is then gently nudged to prefer green words. A human cannot see this, the text still reads naturally. But statistically, watermarked text contains far more green words than chance would predict. A detector with the same secret key just counts the green words and runs a quick statistical test. Images and audio use a different but related idea. For images, the watermark is woven into the pixels themselves, tiny adjustments to color and brightness that are invisible to your eye but survive cropping, resizing, and compression. Google's SynthID is the best known example, and it now covers text, images, audio, and video. For audio, the signal is hidden inside frequencies you do not consciously hear. The goal in every case is the same. Be invisible to humans, but robust enough to survive normal editing and still be readable by a detector. Here is a tiny mental model of the green list approach in pseudocode. For each step, take the secret key and the previous words, use them to seed a random generator, split the vocabulary into green and red, then add a small bonus to the score of every green word before sampling. To detect, you replay the same seeds, count how many words landed in green, and compute a z-score. A high z-score means the green bias is far too strong to be an accident, so the text is almost certainly watermarked. Now the honest part. None of this is bulletproof, and you should never treat a detector as a lie detector. Watermarks can be weakened. If a user paraphrases the output, runs it through another model, or translates it to another language and back, the hidden signal degrades fast. Detection without watermarks is even shakier. These tools produce false positives, flagging genuine human writing as machine-generated, which has already caused real harm to students and writers. Short text is especially unreliable, because there is simply not enough signal to measure. Let us talk standards, because 2026 is the year they matter. The big industry effort is C2PA, the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity. Instead of hiding a statistical signal, C2PA attaches signed, tamper-evident metadata to a file, a kind of digital nutrition label that records what tool made it and how it was edited. The related content credentials standard puts a small CR icon on images so anyone can inspect that history. Watermarking and provenance metadata are complementary, and most serious systems now use both together. Which tools should you actually know? For text and multimedia watermarking from Google, look at SynthID and its open detector. For provenance, the C2PA and content credentials ecosystem is backed by Adobe, Microsoft, and many camera makers. On the open research side, libraries built around the green list method let you experiment yourself. And be cautious with commercial AI text detectors that promise high accuracy, because independent studies keep showing their numbers do not hold up on real-world, edited, or non-native English writing. When should you reach for each approach? If you build or host a model, add watermarking and provenance at generation time. It is cheap, it is the responsible default, and regulators increasingly expect it. If you are on the receiving end and need to verify content, prefer checking for provenance metadata and watermarks first, since those are reliable when present. Treat pure statistical detection as a weak hint, never as proof, and absolutely never as the sole basis for accusing a person of cheating or fraud. Let us bring it together. Watermarking hides a deliberate, secret signal inside generated content at creation time. Detection tries to guess origin after the fact from statistical clues, and it is far less reliable. Provenance standards like C2PA add a signed, verifiable history to the file. The practical rule for 2026 is simple. Build trust in by watermarking and signing your outputs, and stay humble about detecting everyone else's. If this helped clarify a confusing space, follow for more plain English breakdowns, and tell me in the comments, would you trust an AI detector with a student's grade? Thanks for watching.